All right, so here we are at Unit 6, Day 3. Our learning target is I can use tables to determine proportionality. So we're going to take a look at these tables over here and talk about how they are proportional. So let's go ahead and write in the first blank. Let's see what color I should do. We'll go with purple. Relationships are proportional if they can be represented by the equation y is equal to k times x. So there are two coffee shops where we're going to compare some prices. They charge different prices. The prices are proportional, but some of the information is missing from their price lists. So you'll notice these prices are missing, and we're definitely going to have to find all of them. What we do see here is that for 3 cups of coffee, it's going to cost us $8.25. So let's go ahead and figure out how much 1 cup of coffee is going to cost. I know that if I have 3 cups of coffee and it costs me $8.25, that I can take $8.25 and divide it by 3. And if I do that, I will get $2.75. That's the same thing as taking your x value and your y value. And you're following the same exact thing right here that it's telling you to do, the same proportion. It's telling you to do y divided by x. So we did 8.25 divided by 3, and we got our constant, which is $2.75. Well, to see if it really is a constant, we will have to do all of these. So that also means that to go from 3 to $8.25, I can just multiply 3 by 275. I know that because of this equation right here. My y value, or $8.25, is equal to my k value times x. So if I do $2.75 times 3 cups of coffee, it will cost me $8.25. And we can do that for every single one of these in this box. So I'm going to erase all of this stuff that I just wrote out. And we'll try and make it nice and simple for you. If I wanted to figure out how much 2 cups of coffee is going to cost, I'm going to multiply that number 2 by $2.75 to get the total cost, which is $5.50. Same thing with 1 cup of coffee. I'm going to just multiply it by our constant, which is $2.75. And all the way down, I'm going to do that. 4 times $2.75 gives me $11. 6 times $2.75 gives me $16.50. So if I wanted to figure out if there is a constant in this third column, I'm going to take my y value and divide it by my x value. So $2.75 divided by 1 gives me $2.75. $5.50 divided by 2 gives me $2.75. 11 divided by 4 also gives me $2.75. Every single one of these is going to give me $2.75. On the second type of coffee, houndstooth coffee, it looks like they give us 2 cups of coffee and it costs $5.60. So in order to find out our constant right there, we're going to have to do, let me write this in a different color. There's our x value, there's our y value. We need to do the y value, which is $5.60, divided by the x value. And if we do that, we are going to get $2.80. So I know, because of this equation up here, y equals k times x, that if I do $5.60, that will be equal to my k value, which is $2.80, times my x value, which is 2. So let's go ahead and fill out the rest of these. To go from 1 cup of coffee and figure out the total cost, I'm just going to multiply it by 280. And 1 times 280 is 280. 3 times 280 is going to give me $8.40. 4 times 280 is going to give me $11.20. 5 times 280 is going to give me $14. And now with this information, we have our second column figured out. Now we need to figure out the third column and see if there is a constant. So we'll take our y value and divide it by our x value on each one, and we'll see what we get. 280 divided by 1 gives us 280. 840 divided by 3 gives us 280. 1120 divided by 4 gives us 280. Now it's important that you do the math all the way down because it won't always be this simple, the same constant all the way down. So what do we notice is different about the two tables? Well, one price of coffee costs 5 cents more than the other. So I'm just going to write down 5 cents more. All right, let's go on to our next slide. What proves that both coffee shops sell their drinks at proportional rates? Well, what we can see right here is there's our coffee. We already know that when we do y divided by x, we get the same number all the way down. What that shows us is that they are proportional. So we can put on here, what do we notice, or what proves that both coffee shops sell their drinks at proportional rates? Well, the ratio of y over x is the same all the way down for the entire graph. So that means that they have a constant rate. So I'll just write out constant rate. All right, for part C, if you purchase 9 cups of coffee at Houndstooth Coffee, how much more would you spend than if you purchased 9 cups at Seattle Coffee Works? So let me use a different color here. We'll use blue. That's saying, what if we purchase 9 cups at this place and 9 cups at the second place? How much is it going to cost, and how much more are we going to pay at Houndstooth Coffee? Well, we just need to multiply by $2.80 on this one. And then we need to multiply by $2.75 on this one. Let me see in my notes if I have the answer to that. If not, I'll work it out right now. All right, so 9 times $2.75 gives us $24.75. And 9 times 280 gives us $25.20. So how much more money would we be spending at this coffee shop right here? We're just going to subtract the 2. And we get 45 cents. So the answer right here will be 45 cents. A third coffee shop is opening up in a busy business district. What do you notice about their pricing structure? It's important that you're not lazy with the math and just assume that all the prices are the same, because you'll see on this one they are not. So the third coffee shop opens up. Let's go ahead and do some math. Our first column is always the x column, and the second column is always the y column. And then our third column tells us what to do. It says do y divided by x, and that is also known as our constant. So let's just write out constant right there. If I do 290 divided by 1, I get 290. If I do 570 divided by 2, I'm going to get 285. If I do 840 divided by 3, I'll get $2.80. What we notice here is a pattern. These are all going down by 5 cents, and this remains true for the rest of this graph, or for the rest of this table. So what we're seeing here is the more cups of coffee you buy, the better deal you get. And I'm going to put that for part E. What we're seeing here, so the other coffee costs $2.75, the next one costs $2.80. Over here it looks like you could get a better deal if you buy 5 or more cups of coffee. So we'll say for part E, it's less expensive if you buy 5 or more cups of coffee. And then for part D, it says a third shop is opening up. Oh yeah, what do you notice about their pricing structure? Well, we know that the cost per cup decreases as you purchase more. So I'm just going to say the cost goes down when you purchase more. All right, next slide. So use your understanding of the constant of proportionality to determine K. We have that favorite equation that we always use, our constant is equal to y divided by x. They give us our x value and our y value every single time. So now all we need to do is find out what the constant is. If there is no constant, we're going to label it non-proportional. All right, so 6.8 divided by 2, that is going to give me 3.4. So I'm just going to write this off onto the side. And I'm going to do this to all of them because I need to double check. 17 divided by 5 is 3.4. 27.2 divided by 8 gives me 3.4. 37.4 divided by 11 gives me 3.4. So because we got 3.4 every time that we did y divided by x, that gave us our constant. So k is equal to 3.4. Let's go ahead and take a look at the second table. Let's do 3 divided by 1. I'll put that over here. Let's see what we get for our constant. 3 divided by 1 is 3. Let's see if that's our constant. 9 divided by 4. I gotta type that one in. That will give us $2.25 or $2.25. So already I'm seeing that we don't have a constant because we're not getting the same number. 15 divided by 7 gives me 2.14. 21 divided by 10 is 2.1. So there is no constant. Let's go ahead and just write non-proportional. And then for our last graph, or our last table, let's do 18 divided by 3, and we'll get 6. 30 divided by 5, we'll get 6. 42 divided by 7 is 6, and 54 divided by 9 is 6. And once again, I did that because of the equation y over x will give us our constant. And we got 6 the entire way, so we know our constant is equal to 6. All right, next graph. Or table, sorry, I keep calling it a graph. A fraction can also represent k in a proportional relationship. The first unit always listed will be x. The second one is always y. And our favorite graph, of course, our favorite equation, we need to write that out because it's our favorite. K is equal to y divided by x. So let's go ahead and try solving this. Yeah, we'll use green. 1/3 divided by 1. That gives us 1/3. 2/3 divided by 2 gives us 1/3. 3 over 3, or 1 divided by 3, that will give us 1/3. Each one of these will give us 1/3. And so what that's telling us is our constant is equal to 1/3. The reason I did it in this exact order, 1/3 divided by 1, is because 1/3 was my y value and 1 was my x value. And this equation tells me that in order to get my constant, I have to do the y value divided by the x value. All right, so each table shows a proportional relationship. So it looks like all of these are going to be proportional because it just told us that. Fill in the missing values and determine k. We want to know what the constant is. That really important equation is the constant is equal to y divided by x. First column listed is always going to be our x value, and the second one listed will always be our y value. So I can just go ahead right here and label all of these. All right, if I wanted to figure out my constant, I'm going to do my y value divided by my x value. And it looks like that is going to give me 6. And so I know that to go from 13 to 78, I have to multiply by 6. And to go from 78 to 13, I have to divide by 6. So to go from 10 to this blank space, I'm going to have to multiply by 6. And I'll get 60. To go from 42 to this x value, I'm going to have to divide by 6. So I'll get 7. To go from 24 to the x value, I'm going to divide by 6, and I'm going to get 4. And to go from 1 to our y value, I'm going to have to multiply by 6, and I'm going to get 6. So I just filled all of those in. We know our constant is 6. To do the rest of these, we are going to take our y value and divide it by our x value. If I take 45 and I divide it by 18, I'm going to get 2.5. Same thing, if I did 15 divided by 6, I'm going to get 2.5. So that shows me to go from 60 to our x value, I'm going to have to divide by 2.5, and I'm going to get 24. To go from 75 to our x value, I'm going to have to divide by 2.5 because it's our constant, and I'm going to get 30. Now, right here, we see that there is nothing in here for us to do. So we're going to have to look at our other values. What is the pattern that we see climbing from 30 down to 24, down to 18, down to this blank space? We need to recognize that it's going down by the same number every time if our table is proportional. So to go from 30 to 24, I'm subtracting 6. To go from 24 to 18, I'm subtracting 6. To go from 18 to that blank space, I'm going to have to subtract 6 again, and I'll get 12. On the right side, let's see, to go from 75 to 60, I'm subtracting 15. Same thing from 60 to 45, I'm subtracting 15. So let's subtract 15 from 45, and we'll get 30. We know that our constant is 2.5 because that's what we got at the beginning. All right, let's go ahead and do this one. What do we do to go from 25 to 20? Well, let's figure out our constant first. Our constant is our y value divided by our x value. So let's do 20 divided by 25, and we will get 0.8 as our constant. So let's go ahead and try that with 12 divided by 15. Do we get 0.8? Yes, we do. So we know that that is our constant. Now to fill in this space right here, we know that there is a pattern going on, and I'm going to write that in a different color right here. To go from 4 to 8, it looks like we're going to add 4. To go from 8 to 12, add 4. To go from 12 to this blank space, we're going to have to add 4, which is 16. And then let's go ahead and do that on the left-hand side. So what are we going to have to do here? There is a blank space. I need to see what to do to go from here, from 25 to this blank space, and from the blank space to 15. Well, I know what is right in the middle of them is 20. And then we're just going to keep going down. From 25 to 20, we just subtracted 5. From 20 to 15, we subtracted 5. So we're going to keep doing that all the way through. And you can double check your answers and do 4 divided by 5, just because that is the same thing as y divided by x, which is our constant. And that is going to give us 0.8, which is our constant, which is great. So that means we did our math right. All right, and for the last table, let's go ahead and do that one. Our constant is our y value divided by our x value. So 84 divided by 28, and that's going to give us 3. So now, in order to fill out the graph, we need to see what are we doing each time. What are we adding or subtracting by each time to get all of these numbers? And to go from 84 to 63, well, I'm going to have to type that in my calculator. So I'm going to type in 84 minus 63, and that gives me 21. So I'm just subtracting 21. And to go from 63 to 42, I'm subtracting 21 again. To go from 42 down to that blank space, I'm going to do 42 minus 21, and I get 21. Let's do 84 plus 21, and I get 105. There's multiple ways that you can come across these answers. Whatever way works best for you works best for me, as long as you're coming to the right conclusion at the very end. So let's do the same thing, or we could even just divide by our constant. We could do 63 divided by 3, and that will give us the number over here, which is 21. We could do 42 divided by our constant, which is 3. So 42 divided by 3 gives us 14. We have now filled out the entire table. You will probably see something similar to this on your homework. And you don't have to do the homework ticket. The homework ticket was this question up here.